Hi and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about the nervous system. The nervous system is a major communicating and control system within the body. It works with the endocrine system to control many body functions. The nervous system provides a rapid and short-acting response, and the endocrine system provides a slower but often more sustained response. The two systems work together to maintain homeostasis. The nervous system consists of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Constantly receives signals about changes within the body as well as the external environment. It then processes the information, decides what action to be taken, and sends electrical and chemical signals to the cell, telling them how to respond. The nervous system also powers our ability to learn, feel, create, and experience motion. What are the functions of the nervous system? How it works? The different divisions of the nervous system coordinate in carrying out its functions. Receive information from the external environment through the sense organs such as eyes, ears, skin, nose, and tongue. Monitor conditions inside the body by means of internal senses including baroreceptors and chemoreceptors. Our nervous system makes constant adjustments in response to the continuous changing internal and external environments, coordinate muscles, movements, and endocrine functions. It carries out cognitive functions such as learning, reasoning, memory, language, and decision making. The nervous system contains two main divisions, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system consists of the vast network of nerves throughout the body. In brief, the peripheral nervous system consists of everything outside of the brain and spinal cord. However, because the nervous system performs so many different functions, it is helpful to further subdivide the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system divides into two, sensory and motor. Sensory division carries signals from nerve endings to CNS. Motor division carries signals from CNS to rest of the body. Then the sensory division again divides into two, somatic and visceral. Somatic carries signals from skin, bones, joints, and muscles. Visceral carries signals from viscera of heart, lungs, stomach, and bladder. Somatic is a general term referring to parts of the body like the bones, skin, and musculoskeletal system. Visceral is a term that is used for referring to internal organs and vascular system. Motor division again divides into two, somatic and autonomic. Somatic motor allows voluntary movements of the skeletal system. Autonomic motor provides automatic activities such as control of blood pressure and heart rate. Autonomic motor again divides into two divisions, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic arouses the body for action. Parasympathetic division has a calming effect. The brain is divided into four main parts, the cerebrum and its lobes, the diencephalon composed of the hypothalamus and thalamus, the brainstem composed of the medulla oblongata, pons, midbrain and reticular formation, and the cerebellum. Two types of cells make up the nervous system, neurons and neuroglia. Neurons are the excitable impulse-conducting cells that perform the work of the nervous system, while neuroglia protect the neurons. The basic unit of the nervous system, the neuron, transmits impulses or messages. Some neurons are motor, causing purposeful physical movement or mobility, and some are sensory, resulting in the ability to perceive stimulation through one sensory organs or sensory perception. Some process information and some retain information. When a neuron receives an impulse from another neuron, the effect may be excitation or increasing action, or inhibition, decreasing the action. Afferent neurons, also known as sensory neurons, are specialized to send impulses toward the CNS, away from the PNS. Efferent neurons are motor nerve cells that carry signals away from the CNS to the cells in the PNS. Each neuron has a cell body or soma, short branching process called dendrites, and a single axon. Many axons are covered by a white lipid covering called myelin sheath. Myelinated axons appear whitish and therefore are also called white matter. Non-myelinated axons have a grayish cast and are called gray matter. Myelinated axons have gaps in the myelin called knots or runway. The knots or runway play a major role in the impulse conduction. When the myelin is impaired, the impulses cannot travel from the brain to the rest of the body, such as in patients with multiple sclerosis. We will see the functions of the parts of a neuron. So first is dendrites. Dendrites receive signals from other cells. Then cell body organizes and keeps the cell functional. Cell membrane protects the cell. Axon hillocks generate impulses in the neuron. Nucleus. Nucleus controls the entire neuron. Protein synthesis also takes place in nucleus. Knots or runway allow diffusion of ions. Axon transfers signal to other cells. Myelin sheath increases the speed of the signal. Axon terminal forms junctions with other cells. Schwann cell produces the myelin sheath. In the peripheral nervous system, the myelin sheath is found when Schwann cells wrap themselves around the axon, laying down multiple layers of cell membrane. It's inside layers that form the myelin sheath. The nucleus and the most of the cytoplasm of a Schwann cell are located in the outermost layer. This outermost layer is called neurolemma. Is essential for an injured nerve to regenerate. In the CNS, the myelin sheath is formed by oligodendrocytes. Unlike Schwann cells, which wrap themselves completely around one axon, one oligodendrocyte form the myelin sheath for several axons. Specifically, the nucleus of the cell is located away from the myelin sheath, and outward projections from the cell wrap around the axons of nearby nerves. As a result, if there is no neurolemma which prevents injured CNS neurons from regenerating, this explains why paralysis resulting from a severe spinal cord injury is currently permanent, although researchers continue to explore possible solutions. Next cell is neuroglia. Neuroglia cells, sometimes referred to as glial cells, which vary in size and shape, provide protection, structure, and nutrition for the neurons. They are classified into 4 types: astroglial cells, ependymal cells, oligodendrocytes, and microglial cells. These cells are also part of the blood-brain barrier and help regulate cerebrospinal fluid. Not all nerve fibers are myelinated. However, because myelin helps speed impulse conduction, unmyelinated fibers conduct nerve impulses more slowly. Typically, unmyelinated nerve fibers perform functions in which speed isn't essential, such as stimulating the secretion of stomach acid. In contrast, nerve fibers stimulate skeletal muscle where speed is more essential are myelinated. Synapse is a junction between any two communicating neurons. The actual gap between neurons is known as the synaptic cleft. Neurons conduct intracellular communication across these gaps. The nervous system requires impulse transmission through neuron chains that are functionally connected by synapse. A neuron carrying an impulse into a synapse is called a presynaptic neuron. The neuron receiving this impulse is called a postsynaptic neuron. The process of the impulse crossing the synaptic cleft is called synaptic transmission. Most neurons function as both presynaptic and postsynaptic neurons. Synaptic transmission occurs in one direction, carried by biochemicals, that is, neurotransmitters. There are 3 classes of neurons: sensory neurons, interneurons, and motor neurons. Each neuron type fulfills one of the 3 general functions of the nervous system. Sensory neurons, sensory or afferent neurons, detect stimuli such as touch, pressure, heat, cold, or chemicals, and then transmit information about the stimuli to the CNS. Interneurons. Interneurons are found only in the CNS, connect the incoming sensory pathways with the outgoing motor pathways. Besides receiving, processing, and storing information, the connections made by these neurons make each of us unique in how we think, feel, or act. Motor neurons. Motor or efferent neurons relay messages from the brain, which the brain emits in response to stimuli, to the muscle or gland cells. Then next we will see the types of neurons. Neurons vary greatly in both size and shape. They also vary according to the type, number and length of projections. Then first one is multipolar neurons. Multipolar neurons have one axon and multiple dendrites. This is the most common type of neuron and include most neurons of the brain and spinal cord. Bipolar neurons have two processes, an axon and a dendrite with the cell body in between the two processes. These neurons can be found in the retina of the eye and olfactory nerve in the nose. Unipolar neurons. Unipolar neurons have one process, an axon, that extends from the cell body before branching in a T shape. These neurons mostly reside in the sensory nerves of the peripheral nervous system.